Well, 3 months into starting a new job as the CEO of Mastermind, a pandemic gripped the company and changed the playbook for how the company goes forward. Joining us now to discuss the strategy and what those days were, let's bring in Sarah Jordan, the CEO of Mastermind. Thank you so much for being with us, Sarah.
Thanks, Amber, for having me.
So you probably started in January. You had this great plan for where you wanted to take the company, and then COVID hit, the shutdown hit. Just take me into those initial weeks and what was it like? How crazy was it?
Yeah, well, Mastermind Toys has 69 stores coast to coast and an online presence. In March, after 6 weeks of joining the company, we shut down all of our stores in advance of the government mandate. Our online sales started to skyrocket, and we experienced triple-digit growth on that channel. On our peak days, while our stores were closed, online represented 70% of our sales during that day from previous years. We also took the time, Amber, to create some new adventures for Mastermind. New to us was curbside. And as we've reopened our stores, our online channel, our curbside, those digitally assisted channels are maintaining that growth.
Were you able to keep up with that demand? Did you have the technological infrastructure and the logistical infrastructure to deal with now all of a sudden your business switching almost completely to online?
Yeah, we certainly had to make some adjustments, and we had to make sure that we could serve our customers. More importantly was making sure we had the right products. There was starting to be some categories that were really shifting as family time got reignited and puzzles became a big deal and driveways became the new art gallery, and we saw sidewalk chalk really start to accelerate. And so it was not only did we have to keep our employees safe in our warehouse and shut down our stores, but we also had to make sure we had the things that parents, caregivers, and educators were really looking for.
I could not find sidewalk chalk for weeks. I was hunting everywhere for it. So you're absolutely right. That became a total premium must-have when you're locked in with your children. So now here we are. Things are a little bit more free. It's nice weather. The kids can go outside, but we're preparing for whatever back to school looks like. How have your sales evolved from those initial months of the pandemic to where we are now?
Yeah, well, in terms of our sales, I mean, we're feeling optimistic about our recent results. I say that because we're comparing it to what we planned in March, and we really didn't know what to expect, but what we're seeing now is better than expected. That being said, Amber, the holiday months, November and December, is really what's critical for us, and so that will really set the tone for the full year, what the holidays look like.
So is that more important right now than how you're preparing for back to school? Like what kind of product mix do you need to have this year compared to previous years that's different? Or is it still the same and it's just distribution is different?
You know, it's a great question. Back to school is actually really important to us this year. Mastermind Toys is Canada's authority on play. When people think of Mastermind, they often think of our signature gift wrap, but they also associate us with the educational toy store. So this year, we know back to school is going to look different, and we want to be parent, educator, caregivers, go-to resource to help navigate this fall, which we know is going to be different. We have the best assortment of games, toys, books, and puzzles to help parents navigate this time. And I say this because the classroom isn't the only learning zone. We deeply believe that play is kids' work and that learning is essential through play, and we want to be there for parents as they navigate this time. We also know that extracurriculars are going to be different, and that's usually when kids form a hobby or an interest. And so when you think about mix, Amber, and you asked, what does that look like this back to school? Well, it's going to include more arts and craft kits and more puzzles and more games and more brain busters and more STEM activity kits so that we can help ignite that lifelong learning and passion in kids.
And are those kind of categories that had been previously disrupted or didn't see as much activity because of things like online gaming and that sort of push? Are you almost seeing a resurgence of these? I mean, when was the last time we talked about puzzles being the hot new must-have?
Totally. Puzzles almost became the next iteration of the toilet paper. So what I would say is for Mastermind, STEM and learning and those puzzles have always been key to our assortment. But in this moment of time, there has certainly been a spotlight, not only for kids, but kids at heart. We're really noticing a big trend in not only our games, our classic games, but those for adults. And we actually introduced more puzzles during this time. I know everyone was looking for them, but Mastermind actually sold their first 9,000 piece puzzle because we knew that adults were really leaning into this trend. And I really believe, Amber, that the family time has been reimagined. And we're certainly seeing a resurgence of some of these categories, even though they were always part of our mix.
You talked about the holidays too being important, and there's so much uncertainty about the holidays. So much could happen between now and Christmas. We could have gotten through the pandemic. Going back to school could prove to be a disaster, and we're back in shutdown mode. You could see a closure of travel. So much uncertainty on, can you go places? Can you even be with your family over the holidays? How do you think about that as it relates to, present giving and gifts for children?
Yeah, well, we certainly want to give Canadians something to celebrate this holiday season, and we know it's going to look different. Here's a couple of things that we're already preparing for, Amber. We recently launched our first and now second iteration of Grandparents' Day. And I say this because we know they're big gift givers, and we're doing this now because we believe there's going to be a holiday head start. We've already made sure that our holiday wrap is out. Because of people facing that uncertainty, we almost want to give them permission that if they want to start shopping for the holidays now, they can. We also want to make sure that we have the categories and gifts that people are looking for. And so we're making sure that we have all the hot products, including the new Super Mario Lego, so that we can give our kids something to celebrate after what's been a really tricky year.
What have you had to do with your supply chain to meet this demand or adjust to new things or even prepare if there is another shutdown to make sure you still have access to things?
One of the things about Mastermind is that we're 36 years old. We were founded in 1984, and that's really important because as we think about our supply chain, we think about our strategic partners. And so as this pandemic has evolved, as our supply chain has had some ups and downs, what we've always relied on is our suppliers to lean in with us. So we are confident that we're going to be able to manage through the holidays. And I say confident as much with all the uncertainty that's ahead of us, but we are planning early to make sure that we have all the elements that the Canadian families are looking for.
So you're a growth story in a market that is really hurting for growth. Do you guys think about going public in this environment?
We're focused on so many things right now that we haven't thought about that. So no comment at this time.
That's always what I get from Mastermind. I thought maybe the new CEO could give me something different, but I do appreciate you coming on and chatting with me about the company and about the hot toys this season. Sarah Jordan, CEO of Mastermind, thank you so much.